Hello, Beta here. Bitcoin hits our price target just below 28,000 US dollars, as you can see here from the schematics that we drew out in our video yesterday. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this content, make sure to like this video and show your support for our channel. And I want to talk about this ascending triangle of the previous all-time high that broke out, and we saw this 20% push to the upside, and then we saw this short-lived ascending triangle form that eventually broke out and it hit our target of right below that $28,000 level. The question is Bitcoin going to continue higher as we start to see traditional markets open? Today is Sunday, by the way, which is a huge day because now we're going to start to see futures market open. We're going to see traditional markets, precious metal markets open, and we'll start to see where is liquidity going to flow? What is the DXY chart going to look like? And so tomorrow's video is going to be extremely exciting, but I have a lot to talk about today because you can see we've got another CME gap that's formed here at 23,795 US dollars. For those of you that don't understand CME gaps, I'll pull up this Bitcoin CME chart. You can see here on the candle close of the 24th of December, when the Bitcoin CME chart last closed its last daily candle, the candle high was right at that $23,795 level. And so as we start to see futures market open in the next couple of hours, we're going to see Bitcoin open up right at that $27,500, $28,000 level, and that's going to create this huge gap here, which, as we know, 97% of gaps like to fill. And so now that we have this new CME gap at 23,795, you can see here there's a lot of confluence with the previous weekly open, which is going to close today as well, and we've also got this resistance from the previous ascending triangle that broke out. And so we've got a lot of confluence here at 23,795. If we're going to expect any form of a pullback, then we're going to want to watch this level of 23,795 to determine whether the bulls are still going to be in control or if the bears are going to have any sort of say in the price action in the upcoming week. And so realize, as the last week of December unfolds, traditionally the crypto market has had a lot of volatility during this time, and we'll look at Bitcoin Dominance because that's also showing some very interesting signs. We'll talk about that towards the end of this video, but I want you guys to realize that as we start to see Bitcoin's price action unfold here over the next few hours, we're going to want to see whether or not there's going to be sell pressure at that $23,795 level, where the weekly open and the previous resistance of the breakout level currently sits, where there's a lot of confluence here. And so if we come down and pull back and we see very little sell pressure, then there's a high chance that, yes, we will continue up to 30,000 US dollars. Now let's say futures market open. Once again, Bitcoin is in price discovery, which means it can even go to 100,000 US dollars right now, or it can just at any point in time retrace 50%. Realize that it's still going to be in a bullish trend on the macro if it does that. But you know, the fact of the matter is, at some point or another, we're going to see a pullback, and you know that typically likes to occur, in my opinion, around the Sunday to Monday time frame, because that's when futures market open. That's when we start to see traditional markets open, and of course, now that we have this major CME gap left there sitting there, then there's a high chance we come and retest that level. So that's what I'm going to be watching. If we start to continue to the upside, at some point or another, in my opinion, there's going to be a blow off top, because you know, unless we consolidate like we did here and form another triangle, then now we're going to start to see unsustainable price action. But once again, Bitcoin is in price discovery. And what that means is, because we broke this previous all-time high here, now, and especially with a coin like Bitcoin with such a large market cap, there's a chance that we can go as far as it wants. And with a, you know, $500 billion market cap that, by the way, just surpassed Visa, there's a lot of room to go towards the $1 trillion market cap, which a lot of people have been talking about for a very long time. I know on our channel, over the last 3 years, we've talked about Bitcoin at a $1 trillion market cap being very plausible. And now that we've overtaken Visa, MasterCard, we're starting to see Bitcoin as a more efficient storage of value and even a means of exchange when it comes to payments, right? So, of course, we're going to be watching this chart here. I'm going to be watching this level. Once again, for me personally, would I long here at this previous weekly open? Really what I'm waiting for to long is going to be this monthly open, and this is actually going to be you know, different in the next 5 days once we start to see the next month unfold. But this is actually an important level in my opinion, because this specifically is not only an ascending triangle resistance area, which we haven't retested yet. That's the key here. We haven't retested this yet, but it's also the previous all-time high, and we've yet to retest that. And to me, that's a very juicy opportunity when it comes to a day trade long opportunity. As a matter of fact, for those of you that are in our Discord, we've been trading Ethereum, we've been trading Bitcoin, but we've also had a lot of success with altcoins. You can see here with the Binance coin, I sent out this signal yesterday at 4:19 a.m. We saw all 4 targets hit with an 8% profit on 3x, and that entry was at 33. I'll actually talk about why I took this trade, and then we'll go and look at Bitcoin dominance because there's something that's very interesting happening there with Bitcoin dominance. We'll pull up the Binance perpetual contract here for BNB, and I'll talk about why I took this trade at 33. It's actually a very simple trade here. So the reason we took this trade was when I was watching BNB, I talked about this weekly open in my video yesterday acting as a magnet when it comes to price levels and price action, right? But another aspect is going to be this price structure that I had drawn out yesterday from this ascending support level that BNB had, and I sent that signal to enter into BNB at 33 right when I saw this pullback towards that ascending support level. And I saw that we only had really one wave completed, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and I knew that there was that fifth wave coming. And of course, now we're starting this ABC correction. We broke that ascending support level. But the reason we took this trade at 33 was because if I were to pull up 33 here, you can see I'll actually, this red line here is actually 33. You can see 33 in the past has acted as a strong support, and it also acted as a resistance. And so knowing that, I knew that as we came to test that support level, sorry, let me get back to that chart. I knew that as we came to test that support level, that there was going to be a high chance that not only will we bounce on it like we did here, but we would go skyrocket past 33 for that last and final wave up. And of course, that resulted in almost 4% upside, actually over 4%, which on 3x is 12%. And that's a pretty solid trade there in a couple hours. And of course, now we're starting to do this ABC correction. But one thing I've been looking at when it comes to altcoins is if Bitcoin is seeing a lot of strength, then there's certain altcoins that are considered oscillators, and there's certain altcoins that are considered degenerates. Oscillators are coins that when Bitcoin is trading sideways and there's not really much room to long or even short Bitcoin, and there's very little volatility, the whales like to play around with altcoins, but there's a specific basket of altcoins that they like to play around with that are called oscillators. Oscillators can even be coins like Doge. Surprisingly, Doge just being a joke. I'll pull up a Bittrex chart that has a lot of price discovery. You can see here, over the last few years, Doge has been able to maintain itself against Bitcoin's price. Sometimes Elon Musk might tweet about it, it'll pump, but over time you can see ever since 2014, it's continuously maintaining this sideways trend, and it has these periods of upside where it is able to stay up with Bitcoin's trend, which is a very interesting aspect of an altcoin that you always want to look for when it comes to investing in altcoins. I could do a whole video on altcoins that are degenerates and oscillators. If you guys want to see that video, comment below what altcoins you want me to check on whether or not they're oscillators or degenerates, and I might do a whole video on just taking your requests. So put that in the comments below, and I will definitely check those out. But realize that there's a lot of opportunity in this market right now when it comes to altcoins as well as Bitcoin. And when we look at Bitcoin dominance, what a perfect transition and segue into Bitcoin dominance. You can see we're starting to head to these all-time highs. And what that means, and these aren't all-time highs, but we're just factoring in from that 2017 top and from that initial altcoin cycle that really started with the discovery and the creation of ICOs, but eventually turned into IEOs, and then we had the DeFi revolution. You can see what's happening right now is we're heading towards these highs, and really we're going to be watching that 73% dominance level, because if we're able to break this, then there's a high chance that we can even wick all the way up to that 80% dominance level. And in my opinion, if we continue to see strength, which we're seeing a lot of strength, I'll actually pull up some of these moving averages. Here are the 50, 100, and 200 weekly moving averages for dominance. We're above all 3 weekly moving averages. And when we look at something like altcoin dominance, it's the complete opposite. We're below all these weekly moving averages. Now, in the past, was that an opportunity to buy? Yes, it was, because you can see below those weekly moving averages, we continue to upside, but it's a very dangerous play. We want to at least see a retest of this 200-week moving average first, like we saw here, before considering whether or not this altcoin cycle will begin, or if we're going to see a continued prolonged downtrend, very similar to what we're seeing with the DXY actually, which is the dollar value. You can see we broke below that 200-week moving average and we never retested it, and so that was confirmation that not only was this becoming very bearish, that we also broke this macro trend, this ascending support trend, and that was even more bearish, and now we're in this prolonged downtrend when it comes to the US dollar value, which is one of the biggest reasons why we're seeing inflated asset prices. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I can go into so much more, but if you guys are in our Discord, you guys know you can always catch me there and ask me questions. Very interesting chart now that we have this new CME gap at 23,795. That's what I'm going to be watching for now. I don't believe we'll go and just break past 30,000 out of nowhere this week. I think we'll either see a consolidation in a triangle form, or we're going to come retest this weekly open. If we come to retest this weekly open and we don't see much buyers and we see a lot of sell pressure, then I'm really going to be waiting for this monthly open and that retest of the previous all-time high to go ahead and have a nice solid day trade long. And then from there, we'll most likely come up, test that weekly open and that previous CME gap of 23,795. And then from there, we can, either consolidate in this level or even continue to the upside. I think if we're going to continue the upside, then we're not going to come test this monthly open. I think first we'll test this weekly open and then continue to upside. And then at some point or another, we're going to see these gaps fill like they do 97% of the time. People have been saying, like, you really think the $9,665? Yeah, at some point, we're going to come down to that level. It could be 4 years from now, 5 years from now. It could be years from now. It could be, months from now. It's just when sentiment changes is when we'll start to see these levels retested at some point or another. But of course, that's a long time away at this point with such bullish sentiment and the fundamentals, especially with the political, tyranny, I would like to say, going on in the U.S. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm out. It's Sunday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And if you guys appreciate this content, like the video and subscribe to our channel if you guys haven't already. Snipers out.